All right. It's the Midday Show on XPN. I'm Mike Vasilikos. We've got a real treat for you today. You know, it was about 20 years ago, I went to this radio conference. I was green. I had just started off, and I was in this room of programmers, and everybody was talking about music and their music libraries and how much new music you play and old music you play and all this kind of radio nerdy stuff. And one programmer who kind of carried weight got up and he said, when in doubt, just play Bob Marley or R.E.M. And for some reason, that has stuck with me now for 2 decades of my career. R.E.M. has been a band that has kind of weaved into the fabric of what we do here at XPN. And I guess they've served as a bit of a connector for our guests today as well. Tonight at Union Transfer, Michael Shannon, Jason Narducy, and friends are bringing their tour to Philly, playing Fables of the Reconstruction, which turns 40 this year. To Union Transfer, Michael and Jason are with us today. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
Oh, yeah, no problem. We also have Dag Juhlin here with us, who's our phenomenal other guitar player.
And we'll hear about some of the friends that'll be joining tonight and the band members. But we're glad you guys are here. Obviously, Michael, Academy Award, Golden Globe nominated actor, Revolutionary Road, Take Shelter. I love Boardwalk Empire, Knives Out. Jason, you've played with, so many folks over the years. Bob Mould, who will be coming back to Philly not too long. Superchunk, Robert Pollard. The list goes on. And I was very curious about how your roads connected, as I'm sure a lot of our listeners are. You both have ties to Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. And it wasn't R.E.M. that originally brought you together, but the guy we heard just before the break there, it was Lou Reed, right?
Not technically Lou.
Well, not him, but his music.
Our friend Robbie Fulks, Fulks, an amazing songwriter and guitarist and personality who Michael, did you know him before that?
I didn't really know him. We have a mutual friend named Craig, yeah. So.
I had done some stuff with Robbie, and he had this residency at a place called The Hideout in Chicago, and he asked me to play bass on the entire record, Lou Reed, Blue Mask, and asked Mike to sing it.
I'd heard somewhere, I think, Michael, you had referenced it as like the weird Lou Reed record or something like that. So I figured it was either that or Metal Machine music, but that one would have been tough, I think.
Yeah.
No, I really love Blue Mask. I really came to appreciate it very much when I was working on it. But I had never heard it before Robbie asked me to sing it. I had never listened to it.
So your friendship kind of started there, I assume, and you guys stayed close over the years?
Yeah, we talked a little bit that evening and got along. I wouldn't say that the friendship started there, but we did another show with Robbie playing Velvet Underground songs at Metro in Chicago, and then Robbie moved to L.A., and Mike reached out. We started doing kind of annual shows after that.
Yeah, the first one I asked you about was doing The Queen is Dead,
right?
The Smiths record.
Dag Juhlin was on that show as well. We did The Queen is Dead with 6 additional Smith songs at the end.
And the R.E.M. stuff started a couple of years ago with Murmur? Sort of the same trajectory there?
Yeah, Jason, we had done a Modern Lovers show earlier that year, and then Jason was like, let's do another one. I was like, oh, that's awfully quick. We just did Modern Lovers, but sometimes Jason's kind of like a little puppy. He's like, no, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so I was like, all right, bro, what do you want to do? And he said, well, it's 40th anniversary of Murmur coming up. I said, oh yeah, Murmur, I love that album. Okay, and now here we are.
I mean, it was wild. I was just talking to somebody yesterday about how we put that show up for sale 30 days before the show happened.
That's kind of like unheard of nowadays,
it's not
right?
Smart at all. And it's a club date in the summer.
And Chicago, you didn't want to play Metro.
I thought we should go smaller. I was wrong. Thanks for pointing that out, Mike.
Well, it also turned out it made sense to play Metro because it was also the 40th anniversary of Metro, and I believe the first band to play at Metro was R.E.M.
Yeah, it had some historical gravity to it, and fortunately, even just with 30 days on sale, it sold a lot of tickets, and it became a really memorable show.
And you turned that into a run of shows, right?
Yeah, I mean, I hesitate to say we turned it into it. We just got asked. My email filled up with other promoters around the country asking if we would bring the show, and I asked Mike. I was like, "You want to do this?" And he's like, "No way!" And I,
and the little puppy was like, "I need more."
Yeah, the little puppy. No, Mike was immediately open to it, and
I mean, I was scared out of my mind. And I'm always quick to point out for anybody who thinks that like this was our idea, like, oh, the world needs to hear us play R.E.M. music. That's not the case. But I'm happy to go along with it, and I love doing it. But it wasn't our idea. It was literally people saying, would you please come do this? So we do.
And the demand is kind of increased because there's more dates this time around. Yeah. The rooms are bigger in almost every market that I've seen so far. And I love the idea of focusing on an album, playing it from front to back. Last year I played it a little while ago. Ted Leo did his Shake the Sheets tour. And for me, the cool thing about that was like I was there in '04 when that record came out, but he didn't play all the songs. And this was the first time I got to see him play all the songs. So what was the thinking of we're going to do an album again rather than just playing a smattering of songs?
Well, it's just his 40th anniversary thing, you know? I mean, the weird thing is we somehow managed to skip Reckoning, which I
was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, there's like some wormhole that Reckoning just kind of vanished into, but we play the heck out of Reckoning, both on the Murmur tour and on this tour. Yeah. So I think we've actually played Reckoning more than anything else.
Probably, yeah. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just to clarify what the show is, we walk out on stage and play Fables all the way through, and then it's a free for all. Then it's like whatever we're feeling, and just songs from all over the career, mostly earlier stuff, and an emphasis on Reckoning. But.
I mean, we don't know the whole catalog, and we've disappointed some, people that just scream out random requests. It's like we didn't learn all 1,000 R.E.M. songs for this tour, We learned a certain amount, and we stick to it, and we have a set list, but...
And we've been adding as we go.
Yeah. We like, if it feels like people are enjoying it, we tack on a couple.
I'd ask how the tour is going, but I've kind of, through social media, you can kind of live vicariously through artists these days. And I saw, I think it was in D.C., you guys played a 37-song set list. So I find that it would be hard to imagine that you're not having fun when you can play almost 40 songs a night together. Yeah. It's got to be
Unfortunately,
amazing.
The crowd stays.
Yeah, and they stay the whole time.
Yeah.
And, of course, the thing everybody wants me to ask you about, you literally got R.E.M. back together on stage, I guess it was last week in Athens?
Yeah, I mean, they came during the Murmur tour. We had one show at 40 Watt during the Murmur tour. And, of course, the first show that we ever played at Metro, Mike Mills showed up at and sang a lot. So they've been supported from the get-go. But yeah, this particular visit was very, very special because all four of them got up on stage at the same time and performed together. And our publicist, Sam, he had come down to see the Thursday night show, and we were all having dinner, and Stipe pulled him aside, and he said, you're not going to want to miss Friday night. So Sam extended his trip. Because the first night, Thursday night, he came up to sing Pretty Persuasion, but he very pointedly said to me, like, I still want you to sing lead. I'm just going to sing harmony or whatever. But when he came up the second show, he's like, tonight, I'm singing lead. I said, okay, boss. I hear you loud and clear. So, yeah.
So in a way, like... It was funny, when I watched the video, there seemed like there was actually a little bit of spontaneity to them popping up on stage. Like, part of you part of you like, oh, this could happen. It feels like you guys have the set list, but you're willing to sort of do whatever.
We don't plan it, no. But they come in, we post the set list on the door, in the green room. And it's so funny to watch them before the show, one by one, just come up and peer at it, and comb through it. And you're just wondering, what are they thinking? They're thinking something. I don't know what it is. But we never presume that they're going to get up. We never,
so when they
ask
hop,
them to do it.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but so when they hopped up there, you didn't know that was going to happen?
For Pretty Persuasion, no.
And neither did they.
The only thing we knew was going to happen ahead of time, we knew that Bill Berry was going to get up and play drums on Wendell Gee, because he literally asked us if he could. And we knew Peter was going to come up because he had already played with us in Portland and Seattle and was enjoying it. So we brought him up for a lot of the same songs that he played on the West Coast. So And then with Mills, Mills is like, he just gets excited and runs up on stage.
Yeah, he
and
loves to
starts
sing.
singing.
They when we did Pretty Persuasion, they came up one by one, and then Bill was still on the side, and our friend Dag Juhlin here is on the side, and he's pointing at him. I've seen video where he's pointing at him. He's like, "Come on up, come on up." So Dag, if anybody's responsible for this, it's Dag who got the fourth member on.
Nice job, Doug.
Yes. Yes, Doc.
Love it.
Well, I mean, everybody was up there, and it was a magical thing, and he was kind of looking up like he was maybe waiting to be asked or wanted to be a part of it, and it was great when he finally did, and that really completed it, and it was wonderful.
Yeah, if folks haven't seen it, I mean, there's videos online. It seemed like a pretty amazing moment. Michael Shannon, Jason Narducy, and Dodd is in studio with us right now, playing tonight at Union Transfer. You mentioned Wendell Gee, and you've got the banjo, the acoustic. Would you mind giving us a rendition of that?
I'd love to.
That's when Wendell Gee takes a tug upon the string that held the line of trees behind the house he lived in. He was reared to give respect, but somewhere down the line he chose to whistle as the wind blows. Whistle as the wind blows through me. He had a dream one night that the tree had lost its middle, so he built a trunk of chicken wire to try to hold it up. But the wire turned to lizard skin, and when he climbed inside, it wasn't even time to say goodbye to Wendell Gee. So whistle as the wind blows. Whistle as the wind blows through me. There wasn't even time to say goodbye to Wendell Gee. So whistle as the wind blows. Whistle as the wind blows through me. If the wind were colors, if the air could speak, whistle as the wind blows. Whistle as the wind blows.
Amazing. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Wendell Gee, the closing track to Fables of the Reconstruction, turns 40 this June, and a celebration tonight at Union Transfer. Michael Shannon and Jason Narducy and friends. I believe there's tickets still available. We got info on our website, xpn.org. Appreciate you guys playing for us this afternoon. The and friends part, Jason, I saw some familiar faces on stage. Who's playing? Who's in the
So
band?
we've got Dag Juhlin on the second guitar with me, and John Steerett on bass. From Autumn Defense and Wilco. Our friend Vijay Teles-Nayak on keyboards and cool R.E.M. sample sounds. And Philly's own John Worster
Yeah.
on drums. And it's funny that you mentioned Ted Leo, because Ted is actually going to play bass with us on the UK Ireland tour.
Oh,
that
no
we're doing
way.
On the Fables tour. So
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Michael, one thing I wanted to ask you, music obviously has been a love of yours in addition to acting. And I'm curious if there are things that you do to prepare for a role that have translated into this world, maybe besides, knowing your lines.
Oh, well, it's just, whether it's acting or music, it really just boils down to obsession, It's an obsession. It's a devotion, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've listened to the music. I listen to the music before every show, even still, This will be our 14th show on the tour, and I'll listen down to everything before we go out. I've watched countless concerts. I've read books. I've talked to the people that made the music. I'm like Pac-Man, I just gobble up everything I can, whatever dots are in front of me, It's just the same way I do go about a role. And, I'm not going to no matter what I do, I'm not going to turn into Michael Stipe. And I know, it's kind of like what he says in his song, King of Birds. Standing on the shoulders of giants leaves me cold. It's like I do what I can. I'm not going to be him, but I think I got a real nice note when we were in D.C. from a woman who said how much it means to her that we're doing this, and I get the impression in general that there's a lot of people that feel that way. So
I think you're right about that. As you play these songs, as you get into these songs, and maybe this is a question for all you guys, are there songs that, obviously there are probably favorites that you have as a fan and as a listener, but as you actually get into the songs and play them, have newfound appreciation for anything? Have any songs kind of jumped out and since you've started playing them been like, oh yeah, I feel this differently now?
Well, Dag, you were talking in the van on the way over here very eloquently about this.
I've been a fan since I first heard them. I'd go back to the beginning of their first album and stuff, and I was just really getting into Fables was a real appreciation as the guitarist for what Peter Buck is doing and how he plays and how precise and consistent and imaginative his playing is, and it's not just a strum. There's so much going on, and so I've been like I said, just a real appreciation for what is going on within the music and the way their songs are constructed, and Jason and I have worked very hard to pick apart the various parts that are on the recordings, and I think for the most part, and R.E.M. themselves have been a little bit allowing us to kind of they acknowledge that maybe we're taking the odd liberty with some of their stuff, or some of the parts that we've come up with, and they've been really cool with that, So I do appreciate the construction of these songs and their recent induction into the Songwriting Hall of Fame is absolutely warranted. It's absolutely there's deserving of that.
Without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. So looking forward, how many more dates on this run?
We have tonight will be our 14th show, and then we have 6 more after that. So tonight we're in Philly, Boston tomorrow night, and then Brooklyn Steel the night after that. Then we have a few days off. Then we wrap up with the First Ave and Minneapolis. We play Milwaukee, Turner Ballroom in Milwaukee. Then where it all started, Metro in Chicago, and then the cherry on the Sunday, Space up in Evanston.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And Jason, after that, I guess you're going to start going out with Bob, right?
That's right. John Worster and I have not even 2 weeks off, and then we head out on a 6-week Bob Mould tour. It's been 4 years since the band has toured. We are chomping at the bit. We can't wait to get out there and play some punk rock with Bob.
Yeah, and Bob will be coming to Union Transfer early May, so we'll see you again real soon for that. Right. And Michael, I go ahead.
Oh, but tell them about your super special. I mean, that's super special, but to tell them about this surprise, or you're not allowed to say about it.
Say,
Oh, you can't say it. No. He got a job at Hooters. No,
Okay. Congratulations.
I've been working
he's going to
very
be a
hard.
line cook.
Oh
okay,
my
sorry
gosh.
to interrupt. Go ahead.
No.
Okay.
And I know Michael, actually, Jason just mentioned before. So after you wrap up the R.E.M. tribute shows, you're stepping into the director's seat, huh?
Oh, I directed a movie actually a little bit ago, but it's finally coming out. It comes out on April 4th. It's called Eric LaRue. So after the tour's over, I'll be focused on promoting that and trying to get as many human beings to see it as humanly possible. And I'm really hoping it plays here in Philadelphia. I went to the Film Society last night and saw a couple of really wonderful films. So I was kind of daydreaming when I was in there, what if Eric LaRue played here? That would be so cool. So hopefully that'll be the case.
Well, congratulations on that. Congratulations on this tour. I can't wait to see it in person tonight. Michael, Shannon, Jason Narducy, and friends, and Dag, thank you so much for being here today. Appreciate you guys. And if folks, you need info on the show, check out our concert calendar at xpn.org. How about a couple more from Fables of the Reconstruction, some R.E.M. themselves? It's XPN.